Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhana Swami Namne. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namne. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachamani Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschal. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasti Gaur Bhaktinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Rama Hare Hare. So last 2 weeks, I think Prabhu covered Sthita Prajna section, right? Yes. So we'll continue from verse 62 onwards. So this is a very practical lessons, what a person who is doing spiritual pursuit should be careful about. How he can degrade, how he can control the degradation of his consciousness. So the title is Steps in Fall Down and Ways to Avoid Them. Fall down means spiritual fall down, not physical fall down. So I think this is from the previous verse. Yeah. This is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He was stating in this particular verses, even for those who have controlled the senses, if they do not direct their mind to me means Krishna, it is inevitable that calamities will again rise. Yeah, so that is the purport. People may seem to have control on the mind, but unless it is directed towards God, there is always a chance for fall or slip. Yeah, so Ramanujacharya, one of the South Indian Acharya, he states like this: one who endeavors to subdue senses, depending on one's own exertions, and does not focus the mind on me in this way, becomes lost. Yeah, so this is the translation given by these Acharyas. So you cannot, by your own strength, control your mind. We'll see some examples also. You see here, three monkeys. My mind is like a monkey. That's why, monkey tries to shut his ears, mouth, eyes, but monkey is a monkey, right? It cannot really control. So mind is like a monkey. So there is yeah. So let's read the verses a little bit. Makes a lot more sense. 2.60, it states, the senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcefully carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. So by our own strength, it's almost impossible to control our mind. Even a person who is very, who has discrimination, who is spiritually educated, sometimes falls down. It's very difficult to control one's mind. Arjuna himself says, I can control the air through my Dhanur Vidya, but I cannot control my mind. So that's how powerful is mind. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. Senses will push us, but by fixing one's consciousness on God, if he is able to fully control, it's not easy and straightforward. Hare Krishna. Maybe I think you are going to the game class.
Okay, I used to come to Keshava's class.
Oh, yeah, that is this one. Yeah, this one. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. One who restrains his senses, keeping them fully under control and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. Yeah, so without keeping the consciousness on God, it's impossible to control one's senses. That's what this verse says. Now, today's verse. So, we discussed what it means to control mind. It's only possible when you keep it focused on God. That's the only way. Means it's not that all the time you do that, but you should have in the back of your mind that you focus on Krishna, right? That's the way. But generally, most people are not that way, correct? So, what happens to them is given here. Let's read this verse. This is the topic for today. Jayato Vishayan Pumsha Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Vijayate. Yeah. Jayato Vishayan Pumsa. Jayata, Jaya means thinking or contemplating. Everything starts with thought. It doesn't start with action. Generally, it starts with thought in the mind. First, you desire something. Maybe I should buy a car or something like that. It starts. Everything starts like that. And then you develop attachment. You start thinking about it, you know, becomes an attachment. Every time you see that car, that particular model, that attachment grows slowly. And then what happens? Sangas tesu pajayate. So then you, with that sangha means attachment. Then slowly you develop attachment, right? Sangat sanjayate kama. Then that develops into kama, means I must have it now. Kama means you really need it. It's called lust. Lust means irresistible desire to have something, right? Initially, it started as a contemplation, then it turned into small attachment, then it became a lust. You wanted to achieve at any cost. Then what happens? You don't get whatever you want, right? In life, you want many things, but not everything is possible. Kamat krodho bijayate. When that lust is frustrated, you wanted something, but because in this world everybody wants something, not everybody can get that. Suppose you wanted a particular home, but somebody bid a higher price, you won't get it. So then what happens? Kamat krodho bijayate. Then that lust manifests as anger, becomes manifest as anger. You want to read anyone?
One who is not Krishna
No, here. No.
while contemplating objects of the senses, a person has an attachment for them, and from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises.
Hmm.
One who is not Krishna
It's okay. We'll stop here. Yeah. So we'll read translation only. So it starts with contemplation of sense objects, right? Objects of the senses or sense objects. And he develops attachment, desire develops, and that desire will become thick or, turns into lust. Lust means you must have it now, right? Thinking, then that builds feeling. You have some feeling for it, then you will it. Willing is the third stage. So what is the trick? What is the trick to avoid fall down or developing lust towards things? What is the trick? Where do you stop? This process continuously happens, as you interact with the objects. Oh, this is nice. Maybe you start, as soon as you see something nice, it's possible that you develop some attachment. then you develop lust, and then your lust is frustrated, you get anger, right? So what is the, yes, Sashwat?
No, Prabhuji. Wanted to tell maybe what's the way to overcome this. I can go after you.
Go ahead. How to avoid? That's what I'm.
Uh, so it makes sense that when our senses continuously are engaged with um, what we seek or hanker, it keeps getting us into karma and then frustration. So if we consciously try to see what we are hearing, what we are eating as prasad, what we are seeing, and then it will be a little bit easier not to have our senses go wild, because now we are engaging it um, in activities of Krishna, and what is more sattvic or more calming, if that
Very
kind of
good.
makes sense.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the answer. So the main thing is we have to filter at the contemplation stage. If you some bad thought comes, if you can stop at that stage, that's far better. When you come to the stage of lust, you almost already gave up. It's very difficult to control that. So we should be conscious what thoughts are going in our mind always. And if we are able to stop there, negative thoughts, bad thoughts, stop there. Then you never go into, the phases of lust and anger. So that's the trick. But it's not possible, right? Mind is always running around things. What is the way out now? We understand in principle, yeah, theoretically, I should not, lust over things, and I know I should not desire things, but mind is always hankering after things. That's the nature of it. Now, what is the alternative?
Become a better person so we can also.
Yes. So change your. So mind is always after the top priority for you, whatever it is, whether it is work or whatever, or your desire or whatever, right? If you have developed higher taste, something higher, then slowly your mind's impressions will start changing. Initially you're watching movies or going to bar or cigars or whatever, right? But slowly when you replace them with positive activities and develop higher taste, right? Now you developed for taste for chanting or serving positive things, right? Then that positive engagement will slowly change, erase your negative, mind going towards negative things. At least it's not possible that 100% you will change. All those past habits will continue. You have lived in this world for millions of lives. Do you think all of those impressions will go away? In the past lives, we don't know who we are, what all nonsense we did, we don't know, right? Frankly. So they are always there, whoever it is, doesn't matter. So many negative impressions are there from the past. So they are going to overpower us unless we are contemplative. We have to be conscious. We have to be very mindful of what things are going in our mind. And as soon as some bad thoughts or negative thoughts come, filter, cut out there, right there, before it becomes an attachment or a lust or that are changes into anger. So that is the only way out. Now further it goes, it doesn't stop with anger. Now let's continue here. Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhrama, smriti bhramshat buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashyati. So next, what happens? Yeah, please read. Anyone? You can give.
From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered,
from anger, the first thing that happens is delusion arises. When a person is angry, his head is clouded. He doesn't know what he's doing. Have you noticed that? He's utters words that are going to pierce, and for a lifetime people will remember. Have you seen such things? I have seen. When people become angry, they speak words that are very piercing, isn't it? Yeah. So complete delusion means they forget everything. Their relation with them, what good they have done, the other person has done to them. Everything is erased for the moment. And a lot of people regret their actions in the times of anger. Lot of accidents or lot of like fights in the home, etc., happen because of this particular situation. Uncontrolled anger. And actually, it has started with contemplation, right? Contemplation on sense objects. So anger leads to delusion. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. And when memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. So he loses the sense of discrimination. Intelligence means what is right, what is wrong. So he cannot decide what is right, what is wrong when he's angry, and memory is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. A person who goes through this cycle, they'll be in this world for longer, because of their actions, they are tied to this material existence. So there is the story of a Brahmana called by the name Ajamila. Ajamila is a young Brahmana. He's only in his 20s. He's married, he's a Brahmana. So he was one day going to the forest to fetch firewood to perform sacrifice at his home. He's a Brahmana. Every day they would do, homa, right? Every day in the Vedic times, they would perform a homam at the home. So he was going there to forest to fetch the firewood. While returning, he saw a woman and man in a lusty pose. You see the picture behind? He saw it and he started contemplating on that lady. So he went home, but his mind is still on the lady. How can I also unite with that lady? So, and he finds ways and means to push his wife out and his parents out, old parents also out. And he brings this lady to his home, and he leads his rest of his life with her. And in the process of leading, because he lost his Brahminical qualities, he was stealing and doing everything possible to maintain that lady. Okay. So he basically, we can see how contemplation started with contemplation on how I can enjoy this woman. That led to strong attachment. That led to, after attachment comes anger, right? So, and then finally, lust developed. So he brought her, and his wife and they are not going to support it. So he became angry on them, threw them out. His intelligence is lost. Now he brought, he lived all his life with her. And the story continues actually. After that, almost he's very old now, at which time Yamadutas come to take him. Because of his past good samskaras of, performing homam and all, he names one of his son as Narayana. And when Yamadutas come and try to, take his subtle body out, right, and take him out. So at that time, he calls out Narayana because he is attached to his old son, youngest son. Because of calling out the holy name, immediately Vishnu Dutas also come. Because at the time of leaving body, if one remembers God, it is duty bound for Vishnu Dutas come and take him. So they also come, Yamadutas come, because Vishnu Dutas claim that he chanted the holy name, so he is our candidate, and Yamadutas were taken back. So, but he cannot be taken right now because his mind is still impure, right? Completely impure because of what he has done in the past. So he was given a second chance. Second chance. So he goes to Vrindavan and leads his 12 years on meditation because he understands now the situation he's in. He understands that the purpose of life, and he goes and performs pure devotion service for 12 years, and then he goes back to Godhead. So he was given a second chance, but we can see how all these phases have come in his life. Yeah. Yeah, so you can see here anger. So when senses are engaged in sense gratification, there can be two paths. If he is somewhat good person, he may go towards fulfilling his desire to through worship of demigods, like Indra, Varuna, Vayu. There's so many demigods. Ganesha, they fulfill the desires and they achieve this sense gratification. That's one way. The other way is try to enjoy without going through this path, contemplating on the objects of senses, develop attachment, from attachment lust develops, from lust anger develops, and unsatisfied lust turns into anger. So this is the other path. This is what we discussed just now, right? The alternative for that is senses engaged in Krishna service. This is what we teach in ISKCON or Krishna conscious movement. This is the alternative life, right? Krishna consciousness doesn't ask you to stop doing anything. You can continue to do your job, continue to eat, nice food. Only thing is offer to Krishna first. Before you eat, for your enjoyment, offer to Krishna. Why? We discussed this before. Everything that we have is actually given by Krishna. The hands, the intelligence, all our abilities. Did we create our abilities to do anything? No. See, everything that we have belongs to Krishna. Then naturally, whatever in this world is for Krishna's pleasure. So what we cook is meant for Krishna's pleasure. What we build is meant for Krishna's pleasure. If you have a home, you should treat the home as Krishna's home, not your home. You are like a servant. That's the right consciousness, actually. Because nothing belongs. Are you going to stay in that home forever? Yeah, you're going to leave and maybe somebody else will take over. So always, if you have the trusty mind that I am a trustee of all the resources in my control, then you do the right thing. You're never attached. There is no question of leading to attachment and lust and anger phases. Anything, your family, your parents, your children, your wife, your husband, no matter whoever, everything is arranged by Krishna for your spiritual development. Everything is perfectly. You need exactly that is the right person for you to be your parent, to be your brother, to purify you. Krishna is thoughtful. It's not like random. There is no random event, anything like that anywhere. Everything is perfectly planned for us. So senses engaged in Krishna service, they will be satisfied. Senses can be completely satisfied when they are engaged in the service of Krishna. That leads to transcendental loving service of Lord. Then through that we can engage in the service of the Lord. Yeah. So step by step fall down. Here you can see here. First it begins with looking at each other like that in this example. It is unavoidable. That's the main point. Everybody in this world goes through these phases. It's not like nobody is special. Okay. But why? It is because we have lived so many lifetimes in the past and those impressions are there, right? We are in this world means we have lived through so many lifetimes. So past, lusty impressions will continue. Impressions of sins from time immemorial are there in the mind. Yeah. What to speak of us? We are like little, tiny little beings. Even great souls like Brahma and Lord Shiva also have are influenced by the sense objects. Just to teach us, it's not like they are far superior. There is no question of fall down for them. Like that. So, and then through contemplation one develops attachment, right? Increases fully in a man who thinks about sense objects. So once we start contemplating, so avoid contemplation on sense objects. Yeah, so and then further develops into desire to achieve it, right? Then you feel like, I can't stay without this person or this without this particular object. That develops into anger, when the object is not nearby. Then complete delusion, loss of discrimination. And you won't care for any injunctions of scriptures, what is right, what is. So a lot of people we have seen, they commit murders, all because of frustrated anger, isn't it? Yeah, it is. All the cases of, activities like, murders and all related to delusion. And then failure of memory, intelligence lost, and he is going to go through the repeated cycle of birth and death. So it starts with thinking stage, contemplating, then he develops attachment, leads to lust, unsatisfied lust results in anger, then delusion, then bewilderment, then loss of intelligence, then one falls down into gross material existence. Any questions so far? This is a very practical topic. It's clear, right? Yeah.
Exactly on this, on the impressions that we have from the past lives. So one thing we have heard is when we do these activities in Krishna consciousness, our children gets purified, we removing the ignorance there. But at the same time, we also hear that Guru imparts the knowledge in our heart. So like Guru imparts the knowledge in our heart. This also we have heard, and we are also reading the other transcendental literatures. So what is the need of I have that confusion like if the knowledge is already present in us, why is there a need to impart knowledge from outside? And is it also uncovering the ignorance?
Why we have to learn? Oh, Guru imparts knowledge in our heart. Okay. So what does it's a principle? It's a principle. How he does? Through the agency of teachers. If I am teaching here, actually you may have a guru. It is like his arrangement for me to teach you. I am teaching on his behalf. Whoever may be your guru in the future. But I am just acting on his behalf for you. Right? So it's a principle. Guru is a principle. It's not like a particular person only. Guru Tattva, it's called. Right? Who is the original Guru? Krishna himself is the Guru. So he sends his devotees so that they come and teach us. Right? he sends his loving devotees. Like Prabhupada, he has come from spiritual world to to transform the world, right? So like that. So Guru is a tattva, and by our material existence, we are all degraded. It takes a lot of effort to uncover that. So we have to repeatedly hear, repeatedly come in the association, repeatedly engage in the services. That slowly purifies the chitta. And then chanting, because it's like, every morning you wake up, you have to take a bath. Why? Just living in material world for one day, your body gets contaminated. You have to clean it on a daily basis. So similarly, our intelligence, our mind is always constantly getting subjected to coverings. So we need constant reminders. And over a period of time, the new things won't get in and old things will slowly go away. The chitta will be purified, especially with the holy name, chanting of the holy name. When you chant sincerely every single day, it just cleanses you. Millions of lifetimes of past karma is wiped out. You have like billions and billions of lifetimes of karma. You can't even imagine how many lifetimes. And through chanting, every round you are chanting, you are taking away millions of lifetimes. That's how powerful it is. So that's why it's called Maha Mantra. Maha, which means king of all mantras. Yeah. So we should chant very sincerely. But at the same time, while you're chanting, you still feel a lot of these lusty desires. You know why? In the beginning stages, especially, it's like suppose you are in a room. Room is not cleaned for like 2 years. Lot of dust is accumulated. Now you start cleaning. What happens? All the dust is on your face. My God, you think why? My chanting is increasing my desires or what? Sometimes it feels like that. Some devotees have gone through this experience also. So it's not that immediately you see the effect. You have to have faith, because this is a process that was followed by thousands of people for thousands of years, and it worked for all of them. It should work for all of us too. So have that faith, and in the beginning you won't see any difference. If you practice weight control, you would see the difference in a month or two, because that is physical. But what we are trying to practice is subtle. It's not gross. We are dealing with mind. So it's not physically visible. You will see changes. Definitely you will see your mind is a lot more positive, etc. But completely getting rid of unwanted desires, that will take time. Okay? Yeah. Does it answer? Yeah. So senses cannot be numbed. Numbed means you cannot stop. Oh, I'm going to practice spiritual life. I'm not going to. I'm going to stop all nonsense from tomorrow. You think you can do it? Nobody can do it. It's impractical. Just a matter of time, you'll go back to all your bad habits. So we need positive, real engagement. So you can either serve God or matter. So you are a tatastha Shakti, in between. Matter is inferior energy. God is superior. God is a superior consciousness, right? We are like a cat on the wall. One side is material, completely material things. The other side is superior spiritual things. We can jump either way based on our desire. Most of the time we have only are in touch with the material things only. But you can also be engaged in the other side, right? Imagine when Srila Prabhupada came in 1960s, 65 to America, he's like almost 60 plus. These people were engaged in all sorts of recreation. They gave up the society. They were taking drugs. They were on the music. They're all. So there was a kind of a spiritual movement in the West, but they don't know. They want something higher, but they don't know what that is. So they thought taking drugs is the way to achieve enlightenment. Can you imagine? That's that, go high, get high through drugs. That was the culture in the West called hippie culture. Those people were transformed into Vaishnavas. Can you imagine that these people can give up these bad habits and develop? So it means they don't know who is Krishna. They don't know anything about Krishna consciousness. But they were able to take up Krishna consciousness, and whatever high they want to achieve in consciousness, they're able to achieve. And they are able to stop all the drugs. It means the real high thing is Krishna consciousness. This gives the real kick in life. This has the potential. We need to practice sincerely. If you practice sincerely, 100% sure, you achieve very positive mindset. You are going to be really high. Okay? So those people who don't know anything about, Indian culture, they were able to take up. You see? And without positive engagement, like Krishna consciousness, it's impossible, right? Even powerful demigods could not do that, right? On the other side, there is Haridas Thakur. He is a great devotee who would chant 192 rounds every single day. 192 rounds, almost 20 hours, 22 hours per day. So one time he was, approached by a young, beautiful girl. She was sent by, a person who is very envious of Haridas Thakur to actually, test his purity. And Haridas Thakur was not, she would request, I want to enjoy with you. Haridas Thakur says, I have to finish my rounds first. Please wait here for some time. She waits for one day. Whole night she would wait for him. Second also, she waits. By third day, her heart is transformed completely. She wants to become a devotee now. He knows that this will happen. That's why he asked her to stay there. And she gives up all the nonsense and completely surrenders her life to Krishna. It's a complete transformation. Yeah. So higher taste shuns off all material enjoyment. So we need to develop higher taste. So in Krishna consciousness, we don't give up anything. Okay. One time, our Radhesham Prabhu, who prepares all our material, the first time he went to an ISKCON temple. Okay. Long time back in 90s. So when he went, he's a very orthodox Brahmin actually. He used to chant so many satakas to Lord Shiva and Ma Durga before. He's a Pakka Brahman. He was an IIT student at the time. He would practice. He would put like Stilak and Chamakam, and there are many prayers, right? So he would do all of them. But he was attracted to Krishna consciousness, and then he went to temple. There was many brahmacharis there, so there was a lift there. He saw the lift in those days, 90s, right? He said, why use lift? I'm young. I can go walk. It's a long upstairs to the temple. Then the other brahmachari said, no, Krishna's time is valuable. My time is also valuable. Means I have to do other things. So let's go in lift. So his thinking is always about Krishna. He was shocked. Oh, people can think like this also. So we don't want waste Krishna's time. How Krishna's time? It's not like I'm going late. I can use the time in something else to serve Krishna. That was the mindset of the devotee. Then he goes to the temple hall. There is a, there are a lot of computers there preparing presentations for classes like this, for example. Then he saw a brahmachari working on the computer. So, brahmachari working on computer. I saw brahmacharis, I saw computers, but I never saw combination of brahmachari. Then he talked about, the brahmachari talked about, see, we are not after, vairagya, complete giving up things of this world. As long as anything can be engaged in the service of Krishna, we are more than happy to engage. If this computer can be engaged in the service of Krishna, we are happy to do that. That principle is called Yukta Vairagya. Everything of this world can be engaged in the service of God. If you have money, no problem. If you can earn a lot and and support spiritual cause, well and good, you should do it. So whatever abilities Krishna has given you, use them for the right purpose, right? So that was his experience. It's called Yukta Vairagya, using everything in the service of the Lord. You don't need to give up anything. You just use in the right way. Then there is no danger of fall down because of the philosophy of Yukta Vairagya. Because you are not giving up anything. You're only engaging everything in the. So the idea is not external renunciation. There is an external renunciation. Give up, go to a forest, meditate in a small cave, don't have a comfortable life, sleep on the floor. That is one way of doing things. But 99% of the population of this world cannot do that. What is the alternative? You don't need to give up externally. Give up internally. Renounced spirit. Don't be attached to things of this world, but engage everything in the world in the service of Krishna. Like water drop on the leaf of tamara, what do you call? Lotus. Yeah. Just like a lotus, right? It appears like a pearl. Like that, you should be like a pearl in this world. So this is about Sthita Prajna. How does he walk? Walk means actually how does he live in this world? Yeah, we already discussed this. Raga Dvesha Vimuktaistu Vishayan Indriyaischaram Atma Vashair Vidheyatma Prasadam Adhigacchati. Please read the translation.
A person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulated principles of freedom can obtain for complete mercy of the Lord.
Yeah. A person free from all attachment and aversion, right? Raga and Dvesha. Raga means attachment. Dvesha means aversion. Sometimes we hate things. Sometimes we love things. One should give up both. One should just see if its connection with Krishna, basically. If you are able to do that, if you are able to see the connection with God, with everything of this world, and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom, can obtain complete mercy of Lord. prasadam adhigacchati. So then one derives the mercy of the Lord, one who gives up control on the senses. Attachment and aversion. Yeah, so this is from the purport. The self-realized person is free from all attachment and aversion. He controls his senses through regulative principles of freedom, and therefore he achieves the mercy of God. This is the translation. The lessons from this: how a Krishna conscious person transcends all attachment and aversion. So this is the principle. One should avoid attachment and aversion, right? Now we'll see how it can be implemented in our life. That's what we need to learn, right? So a Krishna conscious person appears like he is a person of like any other person. Externally, he is not like externally he's showing off as somebody who is giving up everything, right? But internally he is detached, right? Why? Because he's only concerned with the satisfaction of God, Krishna, and nothing else. So if Krishna wants, one can do anything ordinarily undesirable. If Krishna doesn't want, one shall not do that which he would have otherwise ordinarily done for his own satisfaction. For example, Arjuna, he doesn't want to fight on his own. But when Krishna wanted him to fight, he is ready to fight. So that is a devotee. He is doing on behalf of Krishna or what Krishna wants. Yeah. On what strength does a devotee achieve this exalted consciousness? The consciousness is the causeless mercy of the Lord, which the devotee can achieve in spite of his being attached to the sensual platform. So, through the mercy of Krishna, when we always contemplate on Krishna, okay, slowly we develop aversion, detachment from both aversion and attachment. It's much easier that way compared to our own endeavors by which we want to achieve it. Any questions on that verse?
Wait for detachment to come naturally as we follow this path, or should we restrain?
No artificial restraint. It doesn't stop. Yeah. So we should sometimes, some activities which are done initially, which is not right, you should contemplate. Reflection would help to to improve next time. Same situation. Sometimes you became angry. You couldn't control. Contemplate and pray to Krishna that I may behave better next time in the similar situation. It will improve, 100% sure. You pray to Krishna, it will happen. Prasadam adhigacchati. Right? So it will happen. Any other questions? And we keep falling, it's not like, tomorrow you're pure devotee. It will happen. Yeah. So the best way to control senses is regulations with religious people. Chanting every day, eating prasadam, basic things. If you do that gives a lot of potency to you. It's like immunizing yourself from the material energy, right? During COVID times, everybody was immunized, right? So that when you go out, the environment doesn't affect you, right? So similarly, we have to chant the holy name every day. It's like a daily dose of spiritual immunization. Okay? So if you chant, you will have that power to face the material nature. Here you see, there's a great sage called Kardama Muni. his wife Devahuti. You heard about it? So he's a great mystic sage. And Lord Brahma, he is son of Lord Brahma. Brahma had a desire for his son. He wanted his son to have children. Kardamuni is like detached person. He doesn't want. But then, because it is fulfilling the universal order, he married Devahuti, and he lived in the forest, with basic robes and all. But now he's married, so he, through his mystic power, he builds a aeroplane, and he builds like thousands of servants. Because he's married and he wanted to fulfill the desire of his father, so he marries her and goes for excursion all over the world. It was beautiful description in Bhagavatam. We should read it. And then through her, because it's a promise, through her he begets children, and it's not lust affair because he is doing as a fulfillment of the desire of the Lord. Okay, so he had a life like a grihastha. Anybody? Huh? Why we know for sure that is acceptable because Lord himself comes as his son. Kapila Dev. Lord Kapila is son of Kardamuni. So he engaged, he has everything, all the facilities, but he's doing everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. So, and then he moves on to renunciation order, after giving the child. So a devotee is not externally renounced. He's not bothered about, I should give up this, I should give up that. No. His spirit is, I want to serve Krishna in the best possible way. That is the only thought. What is the ability I have that I can use in the service of Krishna? Whatever it is, good skills, you have some, writing skills, use that. You have some software development skills, use that. You have some earning capacity, use that. Anything you have, no problem, use that. When you use that in the service of Krishna, it is sanctified. So we do sanction. Grihastha life is sanctioned. But if the Grihastha couple engages in spiritual life, that is sanctified. You can eat food, vegetarian food, sanctioned. You offer to Krishna, it is sanctified. You can eat that. So perform all actions that are sanctioned, offer to Krishna, make it sanctified, then you can do it, anything. So that is called Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya means renunciation only in the heart. Act in the spirit of renounce. The spirit is renunciation, not externally. You don't need to give up anything. Prasade sarva dukhanam hanir asyopajayate prasanna chetaso hyasu buddhi paryavatishtate. Let's read the translation. Please read.
For one thus satisfied Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is so well established.
The threefold miseries. What are the threefold miseries? Anybody remembers? Adhyatmika means related to one's own body and mind. Yeah. Adi, next. Bhautika. Bhautika means? Yeah. Then Adi, Daivika. Calamities, natural calamities. So they don't disturb a devotee, in such satisfied consciousness, he is satisfied. Okay? One's intelligence is soon well established. So devotee is only bothered about how I can use my senses in the service of Krishna. Then he derives complete satisfaction. Let's read the next verse also. Nasti buddhir ayuktasya nachayuktasya bhavana nacha bhavana no nacha nacha na nacha bhava yata santir asantasya kuthasakam sukham asantasya kutah sukham. Yeah, let's read.
One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness, one can have either transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace?
Yeah, the mind itself is not peaceful. Regular people, right? Mind is always going after sense objects, isn't it? That's what happens. We're always looking at things. That's why people spend most of the time on weekends where? If you look at outside world, where do they spend most of the time on weekends? Huh? Shopping, isn't it? Then they get contemplation on the objects. They come to home and then they'll develop attachment. Oh, that television is so good. So they keep trying our Amazon website. Yeah. So one who is not connected can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace, no peace. Mind is not peaceful. So how can there be happiness without peace? Is right? So happiness follows peace. So that's the situation. So now read the purport's key points. So by performing Krishna consciousness, one's minds become steady and peaceful, isn't it? Do you all experience that? Yeah. But if one is not connected with the Supreme, then no intelligence, no steady mind, no peace, no happiness. So we already studied this. No, I think we haven't studied. There is a sloka 529, Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Jnatva Shantim Richati. The meaning is, who achieves real peace? A person who understands that Krishna is the true owner. He is the who he owns everything in this existence. Because he owns everything, he controls everything. Because he controls and he owns, he is the true enjoyer, not me. But we think in this world, everybody thinks like Krishna. I am Krishna. I have to enjoy. Everything exists for my enjoyment is the common misconception, illusion that everybody in this world have. Why anger develops? Because things I am the enjoyer. And somebody is frustrating me, I will not let him do that. Isn't it? Anger develops because we are frustrated by the people about our fulfillment of our lust. So when we understand Krishna is the enjoyer, Krishna is the controller, Krishna is the supreme proprietor, then we will be at peace. Everything in this world exists. I am just a trustee. I don't own anything. Whatever, even you don't, when you give donation also, you don't think that you donated something, because what? Money is all Krishna's only. You giving his money only, but you are using for the right purpose. That will help you to be purified. Yeah. You're saying something? Yeah. Particles, yes. So by nature, because the jiva is of the same quality as the Supreme. We are part and parcel of Krishna. But it's not like a material particle, it is consciousness. It's a spiritual thing. It has an identity, it has its own qualities, just like Krishna. Just that it is minute, right? So it's natural to feel those qualities, the proprietorship, enjoyership. But being part of the whole, all those qualities will only manifest in full, in alignment with the full. Okay? So the enjoyment is truly experienced when in harmony with the Supreme, when the soul is in full harmony with the Supreme, but not otherwise. So these qualities can only manifest only in alignment. The proprietorship, I don't know how to put that, but other qualities are enjoyment, Satchidananda, right? Eternality. Those can be experienced only in harmony with the Supreme. It cannot be experienced in disconnection. Maybe I'll try to find better answer for proprietorship. Anything else? Yeah, that's a good way to see actually. You know, when a devotee becomes a pure, fully pure devotee, 100%, okay, then he even can control Krishna. That's why Krishna doesn't want to give pure devotion to everybody, anybody. Yashoda Mai, right? When she holds stick in the hand, Krishna would be like shivering. The supreme controller. And who is Yashoda? She's a devotee of Krishna. She has desired to serve Krishna as mother. And so she was born as a mother. But now, because she is mother, she is ready with a stick. And Krishna, whenever he does mischief, gets. And then Krishna, when he is only like 4-year-old, he carries the shoes of his father on his head, Nanda Baba, on his head and walks. There is a picture of that. Do you know? He would every day, when Nanda Baba goes out for his service work, Krishna has to put his shoes. So he would carry on the head and keep it outside the door so that his father wears and goes. That was the tradition. And so when a devotee becomes pure, there is a competition between a devotee and the Lord to serve each other. So just like Krishna is taking his chance to serve his devotee. And he did the same thing with Arjuna also. Right? He became his chariot driver. Chariot driver, suppose you are a billionaire and you have a chauffeur, right? Driver. Suppose you become the driver is sitting in the seat and you become driver for your driver. That's exactly the state of Arjuna and Krishna on the chariot. Chariot driver is not a respectable position. Do you know that? In a war, he's not a respectable person there. He's just like one more Krishna is ready to take that position also for his own devotee. Now we heard so many times we don't feel, oh, we are desensitized to the truth. But he is ready to become a chariot driver. That's a mean position actually. On the other side, Salva was asked to become chariot driver for Karna. He said, no, that rascal, I don't want to become a driver. It's a low position for a king to be, actually. For a king, it is a low position. Now, come on, like we are talking about Supreme Lord, he's ready to become a chariot driver. And sometimes Arjuna would kick left, right. Imagine that he enjoys. That's the relation between a devotee and Krishna. And all of us can be develop that relation in this world, at this time also. Okay? So it's not something for few people. Indriyanam hi charatam yanmano nividiyate tadasya harati prajnam vayurnavam imambhasi. Yeah, please read.
And the strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water. Even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence.
This is an example given here. Just like in the olden days, these boats used to have, like a, what do you call that? Like a cloth that would, they would direct in the right way so that the wind helps it to navigate, right? So just as a strong wind sweeps the boat, even one roaming sense, you have how many senses? You have 5 senses, right? Gross senses and 5 subtle senses. So even your eyes are distracted, or ear is distracted, or tongue is distracted, or skin is distracted. Any one of them, mind focuses on them, can carry away man's intelligence. So you lose the discrimination. What is right, what is wrong. So that is the power of the senses. It is the mind is dragged by the lusty senses. That's the situation of the people. And in today's world, there are like infinite distractions. On your laptop, you work, right? That's the purpose of laptop. You go to internet and, like so many distractions, so many news channels. It's very difficult to focus, isn't it? Like all of us have experienced. And with YouTube, right? Like so many things you can watch every day. So all the more difficult in today's age and time, right? So this is what happens. Even if one sense is weak, can distract our intelligence. So we have to have that understanding so that we control our senses properly. Tasmad yasya mahabaho nigritani sarvasaha indriyani indriyatebhyas tasya prajna pratishtita. One whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. And this is possible by engaging our senses in what is the practical way we can do this? How do we restrain senses from the objects of sense gratification in today's age and time? How can we do that? By dovetailing our senses in the service of Krishna. How can we dovetail our eyes? Pictures of deities. So, for example, you can have some pictures of Krishna in your home, wherever you live, right? So that your mind goes naturally to positive things. How about ears? How can you engage your ears? Hearing Krishna Katha. You're saying something? Listening to lectures. Yeah. Anything else? Kirtan. Huh? Listen to Kirtan. Anything else? Chanting and hearing. Yeah. Hearing is the most important thing when you chant. How about your karmendriyas, like hands and legs? How can you use them in the service of Krishna? Yeah? Cooking, prasadam, yeah. What else? Going to temple with the legs, yeah. Going to buy groceries for Krishna, yeah. What else? If you're offering, then basically you are doing that, yeah. Anything else? Yeah, you're working. That's also, that's the most practical thing for all of us. But, give some donation also to Krishna. That way all your money is purified. You give some money and then all your money is purified. Five more minutes. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tashyam jagarti samyami yasham jagrati bhutani sanisha pashyato mune. So this is a very interesting verse. Please read.
This night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control, and the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective state.
What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control. Practically, we can see devotees, they sleep early, like 9:30, 10, max 10:30. But at that time, what opens up? All the bars are open and all the music is on in the bars, right? So these devotees sleep so that they can wake up early and practice chanting. So you can also practically see that. The time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective says. Yeah. So basically, the desires of a transcendentalist are quite opposite to that of a materialist. The materialist wants to enjoy his senses to his best ability. He wants to enjoy, go to places, eat all sorts of things, enjoy all your senses to the full. Music, heavy music, heavy metal music, whatever. Like they want to fully enjoy life. But devotee engages all of them, but in the right way. In the right way, in the sense, in the Krishna conscious way. For the materialist, he says that is the right way for him. Right? Cannot say right way, but in the Krishna conscious way. So that is because their outlook is different completely. It's 180 degrees opposite. A devotee is Krishna conscious. He is always thinking very differently compared to a materialist. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sasanti mapnoti na kama kami.
Person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desire that enters like rivers into the ocean It is ever being filled, but it's always filled, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires.
It's not that for the spiritualist, the desires stop coming. All the desires that a materialist gets, a spiritualist also gets. But what happens as soon as the desire gets into his mind, he doesn't entertain it. He has self-control. He has a steady intelligence. He has a purpose of life. So just like so many rivers come into the ocean, all these desires come, but they don't disturb the ocean, right? But on the other hand, a materialist tries to satisfy all the desires that come into his mind. So that's the difference. He's able to do that. The spiritualist is able to, transcendentalist is able to do that because he has a higher taste. He has a higher purpose. So that, just like when a person is grown up, he's not going to play with child toys. That phase is gone. So similarly, a transcendentalist is not going to derive so much happiness in the material enjoyment. So that's not, he has developed a higher taste. So he's not going to be disturbed.
Translations. Right.
Satisfy such desires, yeah. Oh no, spiritual desires you should fulfill.
Desires are not.
No. I mean, material desires, if you have material desires, don't try to artificially stop. Try to pray to Krishna that I have this desire, This is my situation. There is no question of artificial shutdown, that doesn't help. I have seen so many times it doesn't work. But understand that you should get away from those, eventually. At some point you should not have those. And that's what you strive for. Eventually you get away. Okay. But not everything can be fulfilled. Some desires can be fulfilled even though they're material. Somebody wants to have a nice home. It's okay. It's a gray area. It's not like perfectly good, but it's okay to hold those. But eventually we will get away automatically, as you get purified. Vihaya kaman yah sarvan omams charati nispriha nirmamo nirahankara sasanti madhigacchati.
Person who has given up all desires of sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship, and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace.
All desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires. This is material desires, not spiritual desires. For example, Srila Prabhupada, unless he has a desire, he cannot build so many temples, right? One person asked, Prabhupada, there are so many temples. Why you built 108 temples again? He said, there are so many children. Why you have children? Naturally, I want to serve Krishna to my heart's fulfillment in the way I like to serve Krishna. So that's the answer. So with Krishna, you can do anything. You want to build temple, do it. Whatever. There is no. You want to learn some skill and teach, perfectly all right. Okay, final verse. I just want to complete this chapter. Esha brahmi stita pardha nainam prapya vimuhyati stitvasyam antakalepi brahma nirvanam richati. Yeah, please read.
That is the way of the spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated, even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God.
See, Krishna is saying how you can achieve the perfection of life. So this is the way of godly life. Not fulfill your material desires, engage everything in Krishna's service, understand Krishna is the supreme proprietor, controller, and enjoyer, and engage your senses in Krishna's service. That is how you can keep your senses in control and achieve complete peace. Right? This is the final verse. I think there is a summary slide. Let me see. This was studied. This is the purport. We don't have time. So one thus situated, as explained till now, at the time of death enters into the kingdom of God. This is thus Krishna glorifies the position of Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna means one who has a steady intelligence, a person with steady intelligence. And that is achievable through Krishna consciousness. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Any questions? Online, any questions?
No, Prabhuji. Haribol.
Haribol Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you. We'll end the class.